Well, good morning. Welcome to Prepping for Prosperity, and how are you all today? I'm Steve Smith. It's good to see you. The Fed has finally admitted that we're headed towards a recession. Big news, right? We've known that for a long time. Whether it's going to be a recession or a depression, is yet to be seen, but a depression for one can be a recession for another, and the other way around, or it can be something that you just don't participate in, depending on how well you plan and how hard you work. And that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. I put something over on the Patreon channel that you all should watch. I found a new beer. Hang on half a second. Okay, I'm back. I just had to take a little break. My oldest was headed off to school, and I had to go give him a hug goodbye. He's bigger than I am. He's taller than I am, but I've told all my kids they're never going to be too big or too old for Dad to hug them. So anyway, I put something up over on the Patreon channel. It's an inspiring story. It's about this beer, Yingling Beer, and I tell you why I found it. Somebody had suggested this beer to me a year or so ago over on the Integrated Preparedness channel. I'd never seen it around here, and finally I saw it, and so I bought a case, and I love it. It's my new favorite beer, but I'm not trying to talk you into drinking this or anything else. I didn't know how to pronounce it. So I said, well, I'm going to go on YouTube. Somebody's bound to be talking about it, and I'll see how they pronounce it. Well, I just happened upon kind of a documentary. It's an ad, but a documentary about the Yingling, and that's how you say it, Yingling, beer, how it was started by the family and everything, clear back in 1829. It's the oldest, it says right here, America's oldest brewery from 1829. They built it. It's a German family, German immigrant family that came over and started the brewery in the coal mining sections of Pennsylvania, and built it. It talks all about their struggles. They're now in the 6th generation of their family business. The struggles, how they made it through Prohibition, all sorts. It was fascinating. It was 27 minutes long, and I was just fascinated. I like their story so much, and I like their beer so much. I even left a comment on their YouTube, on their video, and I said, I will never drink another beer. I will never drink anything other than Yingling if Yingling is available. And I'm going to make sure it's always available in my house. But anyway, this isn't about that. It's about the American story of building a business. And you should watch it if you are really interested about building long-term prosperity. This is an inspiring story of the Yingling family and how they built it, the struggles they went through, and what it took, which was a belief in themselves and a don't quit attitude. And it all comes down to that. So that's over there on the Patreon. By the way, if you're not with us on Patreon, I invite you to come over. There's a lot of stuff over there. I put stuff over there about the economic situation. There's more stuff there from me. There's stuff from other people. There is from some of the great economists. There is, and what you should know, if you're serious about this is an investment in your, in your future, really. And then news items and things that I think it's good to keep track of. So I kind of curate that, and I put it over there, and I said, well, here's what I think the people need to know. Here's an interesting thing today and all that. So as always, the link to the Patreon channel is down below. So if you want to join us, I hope you do, because you'll get a lot out of it. Today I want to talk about, because somebody, what was it? Well, I've had a number of people that say, well, I don't know what kind of business to get in, what kind of business to start. And you know that I've said your real key to success, your real key to financial independence and long-term prosperity is having a business of your own. You're never going to get rich working for somebody else. You need to establish your financial independence, because that's all that's going to keep you sailing regardless of what goes on in the world. Now, yes, the economy can affect your little business, but that's where I probably won't go into today. I won't have time to talk about what kinds of businesses you might keep an eye on that would be, or think about, that would be recession proof. Okay, there are a number. Today I'm just going to rattle off for people who haven't thought of these things. Again, I want to give great props to Sherry Van Coley. I just keep talking about her, but when she came up with her notebook idea and made it available on Amazon, I mean, for not much money at all, you can go on there, look up Flower Notebook by Sheridan Jones. That's her nom de plume, and I've been using this. I stole the idea from her. I've been using the Stonemont notebook. Kelly is using hers, flower notebook that I gave her. She's using it all the time. These are great ideas. This is a person that had an idea, went out there, put it together, marketed it, got it out on the market, and it's going to, sometimes they start slow, but over time, they will bring you returns. I don't know if it's starting slow or not. It might be booming. I hope it is, Sherry. Anybody watching, go over, hey, help a sister out, right? Go to Amazon and look up Flower Notebook by Sheridan Jones. And what you put out there comes back to you. So anyway, I have a lot of people who have asked me why say that they can't think of something to do. Okay, I can't think of an idea. What can I do? Well, I've jotted down a list that I just want to give out there to you. This is the perfect time of year to get started in anything that you're thinking about getting started in. Recognize that when you start a business, you should be thinking short-term and long-term, okay? If you can't think long-term only, because you need some returns pretty soon. And that's why you don't want to borrow money to go into business. You want to, do it from savings. And the things that I'm going to tell you here, you need almost no money to do, or if you do, you probably have enough, or you can save enough to get it. You should never have to borrow on this stuff. But you want some short-term returns. You want returns starting to come in, and you want to be able to build your business off of that returns. I know the catchphrase now is cash flow. You want to be able to build it off of cash flow. Well, that just means that you're going to build your business with the money that you've made, with the profits that you've made. Now, maybe if I have time, I'll talk about the taxes. Think about taxes in this, which is very important. And starting your own business, even if it doesn't make a lot of money at first, can help you tremendously on your taxes. Maybe I'll get to that. I might have to save that for the next one, okay? I just want to give you a list on things, okay? Jobs and businesses that you can, it took me, 5 minutes to jot these things down, and I'm sure if I took an hour, I'd fill up this book. Start off. Mowing lawns. Steve, everybody, that's not a new idea. No, it's not, but so few people do it. Mowing lawns. If you've got a lawnmower, you can go out and start making money tomorrow if you're willing to get out there and walk somebody's yard. Okay, seriously. There was a guy, I've told this story, and there are so many inspiring stories out there about people who have overcome hardships and built their businesses. Back when it was the last big bunch of layoffs, whenever all the top guys were being laid off, was it 2014 or I forget when it was. I had a lot of my neighbors lose their jobs very, very high up in like healthcare administration and IT and all sorts of things. They lost their jobs. There was this one guy, I don't know him, but I knew of him through somebody else. He was one of these high corporate guys, and he lost a job. I mean, and when I say that a job, I mean it was a big money-making job. Well, instead of just laying around and holding out for another job like that, like some other people did, he got his lawnmower and he went out and started getting some lawn business. Most people wouldn't do that because they think that that's a job for kids. Well, I have a nephew who's doing it and going great guns. Well, he went out and he started mowing lawns for $40 a piece, right? And he was able to generate, if you can crank out a few lawns a day, That's $100 a day that you're not bringing in. Now, $100 a day is nothing compared to what he was making before, but it was providing for some of his needs. It's $3,000 more than sitting around on your ass, right? Well, he built it up. He didn't stay with that. He built it up, built it up, built it up until he was, he started with his push mower, his home push mower, and built it up to the point that I think the next year he never wanted to go back to his corporate job, and he built a lawn service business out of it. Loves it. Says he loves dealing with the people that he deals with. Loves being out in the fresh air, loves the physical labor. He's in better shape than he's ever been in his life. He feels healthier, and he is serving people. And he's got, like 1% of the stress that he used to have in his corporate job. Same with me and my Christmas light business. I can vouch for that. So don't look down on these kinds of jobs. There's an old saying, he who looks down on his job will soon find his job looking down on him. Now, there is no, like most of us were raised, if it's honest work, there's no job, there's no work beneath you. Okay, the next is kind of like it, yard cleanup. Do you know how many people out there, especially older people, or there are a lot of single women now raising their kids, sadly, but it's true. You know how many of them just need a little help cleaning up around their yard, raking the leaves out and disposing of them or whatever. A little bit of light landscaping. You don't have to get into heavy landscaping. Hey, Mrs. Jones needs some mulch around her trees, and she's 70 and she can't really haul those bags of mulch and all that. And you know what? She would pay you to do that. And you can make a good lick of money on that. Just general cleanup. Handyman. And I know I've mentioned some of these before. I'm going to get some here in a minute that I haven't mentioned before. There are so many people out there with so much work that needs to be done that they either can't do, don't have time to do, or don't want to do. There's a lot of people out there that just don't want to replace their own toilet, right? Yeah, you know how to replace a toilet? I mean, it's not hard, right? You don't even have to know how. By a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to set a toilet. I'm finishing up a tile job up in one of the kids' bathrooms now. And when we get the tile grouted, we'll set the new toilet in. Open the box and read the directions, And so much work out there. If you put the word out that you're available and you can do certain things, you'll be surprised how fast the word will spread. Another thing that I mentioned to a friend of mine, I don't even know what you might call it when you assembly. You know how many people get stuff like bookshelves and IKEA stuff and all sorts of stuff that has to be assembled? That is a pain in the royal butt, isn't it? Or a royal pain in the butt, depending on whether or not you're royal or not. There are people who have started businesses and done very well just doing that, assembling. If you like that kind of work, that's right up your alley. Pet sitting and checking. People go on vacation. I know around a lot here. Now I'm going to say something here. We have a lot of people here probably who live in more rural areas or smaller towns. And one of the problems with rural areas or smaller towns is there's not as many jobs, and the jobs don't pay nearly as well. Most of the people, if you live close to a large suburbs, if you're within striking distance, and I'm talking a half an hour, you can get to where jobs pay a lot better and where you can do a lot of these things and the people will pay a lot more, to where you probably won't be able to do the business in your small town. Don't let the fact that you live in a small town hold you back. You live close within driving distance of a huge market, and it's called the city. Okay? That's why cities grow. That's why people moved to the cities during the Depression, not out of the cities, regardless of what you may have heard that, they all went out to where the food was. No, they came to the cities where the jobs were. Okay. I had an aunt and an uncle that had big farm down south. But very few people support themselves on their farms. They both had city jobs. They drove 2 hours to and 2 hours from their city jobs every day. People used to do that. I guess probably some still do. I don't know. But I'm just saying that if you live, if you don't live in if you live in a smaller town, let me put it that way, or a rural area, you're within striking distance of a place. If you can get there in 15 or 20 minutes, you've got a huge market in the suburbs of the cities. So pet sitting and checking on pets. You'd be surprised how many people, when they go on vacation, they need somebody to check on their cats, or to keep their dog for a week or two. You let the word get out that you're available to do things like that, and you might check with your local vet and say, hey, can I put a card up on your bulletin board? A lot of places do things like that. Put up cards at the grocery store bulletin boards, coffee shop bulletin boards, all sorts of stuff. Pet sitting, pet feeding. Every time we go out of town, one of the things we have to do is to make sure we have people coming over to take care of our animals. Vacation watering and house checking. That's another thing. A lot of people in the suburbs, they go on vacation a lot, and they're gone for a week, 2 weeks, sometimes more than that. Some of these people around here live in Arizona during the wintertime, and then they come back here for the summertime. They need somebody to stop in and check on, make sure that everything's okay with their house. If they're only gone for a week or two, they have plants. They want their plants watered. They want things checked on. They want the cat, to make sure the cat has plenty of food and water, stuff. People will pay for this. And, you would think that a lot of these jobs would be taken by young people. Surprisingly, is not like it used to be. Just like mowing lawns. Mowing lawns used to be for the 14-year-old kids, right? No, now there's adults building businesses with it. Poop scooping. You know how much money there is in cleaning up dog poop out of people's yards? You laugh at that, but I see big fancy trucks driving around all the time, all wrapped in fancy, graphics, poop scoopers, this and stuff like that. Kelly knew a guy who started years ago doing that stuff and made a mint. I know it's hard to believe that some people won't go out in their own backyard and, pick up what they need to pick up. But hey, here again, what I've always said, if you're willing to do, or you can do what other people can't do, or are afraid to do, or just don't want to do, there's a business in there. So, whatever these people, if they want to go out there and pick up their own dog stuff, make some money out of it. You can do that. You'd be surprised. Painting. I'm not saying that you need to be a painter for, a huge house, but you'd be surprised how many people just need a room painted, a bedroom repainted, some trim painted, something like this. You don't have to be a union painter. You have to be able to do a good job with a brush and a roller. If you can do that, if you've done it in the past, or if you can learn to do it, you're going to find that there's business out there if you will just get the word out. And that's the key to so many of these things, getting the word out. Maybe I'll do a separate one I'll make a note to myself, marketing. Excuse me while I'm writing this. And stay organized. See, I stay organized in my Stonemont, or you can do it in Sherry's flower notebook. And help people, help your friends, like like I want to help Sherry. Help your friends. If they have a business, let people know about their business. And that's one of the first things in marketing, to let your friends know about what you're doing, because your friends have friends. Your friends' workplaces, they know people that you don't, and they'll help you get the word out. Power washing. People need their driveways, their decks, their patios, all sorts of things. Power washed. You can get a power washer for $150, $200. Just go down there. If you haven't done it before, figure out how to do it. Do it at your place, and then put the word out that you will power wash, because most people don't. It's the one thing, well, there's many things that people don't do themselves anymore. Hardly anybody has their own power washer. If they need something power washed, they need to find somebody to do it. Okay, make up some flyers, walk some neighborhoods, stick them indoors. Hey, power washing at a great price, and I'm a nice person. People like to deal with people that they like, and they like people who are friendly. So being friendly and smiling is your key to success. Car detailing. See, all these things are things that there's already businesses in, but people charge an arm and a leg for them. And if people can get a better deal by dealing with you individually, they're going to like it. Money in your pocket, more money in their pocket, because you're charging less than the guy who does this for a living, right? At least while you're building the business, and then, adjust your prices if you want to. And car detailing is another. Grocery shopping. The grocery stores, at least around here, are big now into, you put your order in online and they'll deliver it to you for a certain, cost. Excuse me, I'm talking so much I need a sip. You know how many older people there are out there who really have difficulty getting to the store themselves? Make friends, put the word out. You can put this word out through your church, through other churches. Here again, that falls under marketing, but making the contact with people, you can make out a little form and say, write down what you want, and then go to the store, do their shopping, take it to them, and you're going to charge them a price for it. You're going to make money off of that. You're going to help them. You're going to help yourself. And right along with that, just basic errand running. There are so many people, not just older people, but people who are so busy. They don't have time to pick up their own dry cleaning. They don't have time to run their vehicle to get an oil change. They don't have to. I know it's a crazy world we live in, right? So people have gotten themselves into these situations, but they're willing to pay somebody else to do it. Okay? That is going to benefit you. So all sorts of things, Take Fido down to the dog bath place and get him a bath. Whatever. eBay, Craigslist, and Facebook Marketplace. First, sell everything that you don't need. Then secondly, start going around to any place, garage sales, estate sales, and start looking for things and buying things that you believe you can sell at a profit. My mother did this when she was in her 80s. Did a great job. She spent all her time at estate sales. She had retired from her own business. She had traded commodities for a while until they got so volatile, and it just was. Then she started doing this, going around to estate sales, buying pieces of jewelry and things, advertising them, and mailing them out. She loved it. She got she put personal notes in there. She established, long-term relationships with people. She used to mail stuff to Germany to somebody that she'd pick up here. So just become a retailer of stuff that you buy. Around here we have, and you might have it close to you. Most of the cities have what they call Big Trash Day. And it's a day, it's a bulky item. How am I doing on time? I got to talk faster. Bulky item pickup that the trash haulers once a year, you can put all of your big junk out on the curb, and they'll come through and pick it all up. There have been people, and there are professional scavengers who come through with big trailers, and pick it up, and a lot of them do it for scrap, which is a good business. They pick up washers and dryers and scrap metal and all this kind of stuff. But other people just go around and look. You would be amazed at the very good stuff you can pick up on these big trash days. I mean, I've been out there. Kelly and I used to do it for fun. We got some good stuff. I got a lot of building materials. I got a lot of planters, stone planters. I got a lot of lumber. People were in a project and these idiots, they have a bunch of 2x4s left over. Hey, I pick them up. I just made that kind of money. I don't have to pay Home Depot for it, right? My brother specializes in it. He has got some of the most beautiful furniture. You can't believe it. Just people are tired of it. I want something new. I'm going to put the old stuff out at the curb. It's nuts. It's crazy. They should have sold that stuff, but they put it out to be thrown away. Somebody else picks it up and sells it. Tutoring and teaching. Is there something that you particularly know about? Do you know math? Do you know how many kids out there need some math tutoring? a lot. I mean, there's these companies now. One is Mathnasium and someplace else. I don't know. There's several that specialize in teaching kids math. If you're a retired teacher, you can tutor. If you're just an adult who knows things, if you're a teenager who knows things, you can tutor. We know a lot of teenage girls who make money tutoring, not babysitting, but tutoring kids. They happen to be good at math, and they help the other kids be good at math because, young kids just kind of do better with a teenage girl than they do with Mrs. Wilson, right? Give guitar lessons, give piano lessons. My mother made money as she taught teaching piano. A lot of people used to do that. Here's one that I never thought, meal prep. Those of you who have met Hallie, boy, I'm going to go over here. I'm not going to be able to get all this in. So I'm going to stop with this one, and then I'm going to make a second one. But Hallie, we used to work together at the hospital, and she was a lifter. She worked out all the time, and so people would ask her, "Man, how do you get this way?" And she'd start talking about diet and nutrition and workouts and things like that. And she was a trainer, and as she would prep all of her own meals. And there were people that said, "Oh man, would you make them for me?" You can do that. Not just for people who are wanting to do that, but do you know how many people are just so busy? It's actually a thing now, meal prep. Some people are just so busy in their corporate jobs or whatever it is, for whatever reason. Like I say, go back to the can't do, don't want to do, or are scared to do. Find something that people can't do, don't want to do, or scared to do, and you've got a business. A lot of people just don't want to put together their own meals. How about that? You can put together meals for them to take to work, to heat up, to be waiting for them when they get home. You can put them together and have a whole week's of food right there in the refrigerator for them. They don't have to think about it because they're just so busy, doing whatever. But that's a great business. I'm going to stop this because I have a few more here that's going to take more time than I have on this. So I'm going to conclude this as part 1, and I'll come back and start part 2 in just a minute.